Welcome back to Netrush Report, your home for the rivalries, controversies, and emotional roller coasters that make tennis the most dramatic stage in the world. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story that goes beyond the scoreline. On paper, the matchup between Terence Atmane and Argentina's Camilo Hugo Carabelli wasn't destined to steal headlines. A first-round clash between two rising but relatively low-ranked players rarely does. But within 40 minutes, the entire tennis world was talking. Atmane, fresh off a breakout summer that saw him reach the semi-finals of the Cincinnati Masters, entered Shanghai with momentum and direct entry into a Masters 1000 event, the kind of opportunity young players dream of. Yet by mid-first set, cameras caught him sluggish, visibly uncomfortable, and gasping between points. His footwork slowed, his reaction times dulled, and then, without warning, he retired. Fans assumed food poisoning, flu, maybe even a minor muscle injury. But then came Atmane's Instagram post. "I couldn't breathe. My head hurt pretty badly. I lost consciousness. My body went into panic mode." Suddenly, the match wasn't about tennis. It was about survival. What Atmane described is medically known as heat stress, and in high-performance sports, it's one of the most dangerous invisible opponents. Unlike a sprained ankle or torn ligament, heat stress creeps in silently. It clouds the mind, weakens the body, and in extreme cases, causes collapse. Athletes can push themselves to the point of complete shutdown without even realizing how bad it's gotten. For Atmane, it escalated into dizziness, loss of motor control, and memory gaps, symptoms frighteningly similar to heat stroke, a potentially life-threatening condition. And it's not the first time tennis has seen this. Novak Djokovic once admitted that the 2014 Australian Open final pushed him to the brink of collapse, with temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius on court. Gael Monfils famously staggered and collapsed at the 2016 US Open due to extreme humidity. Jack Draper retired from multiple matches in heat-affected conditions, raising concerns about young players and their ability to adapt. The list goes on. For context, Terence Atmane isn't just a random player on the tour. At 23 years old, he's one of France's most exciting new prospects. His semifinal run at Cincinnati wasn't just luck. He beat established players, showed mental toughness, and demonstrated a fearless game built around heavy baseline hitting and relentless court coverage. This year has been his breakthrough. World number 61 might not sound glamorous, but in tennis terms, it's the threshold of real recognition. Players in the 60 to 80 range are often a few big wins away from cracking the top 30, and Shanghai was supposed to be another step forward. Instead, it became a frightening reminder that even the most prepared athlete can be undone by conditions. For Atmane to lose this match isn't the tragedy. For him to lose consciousness is. The tennis community reacted with a mix of concern and outrage. Fans praised Atmane for his honesty, saying his Instagram post was braver than any win. Others questioned tournament organizers, asking why matches weren't delayed when on-court temperatures exceeded 33 degrees Celsius with high humidity. A few skeptics claimed it was a fitness issue, not the weather. But medical experts quickly shut that down, pointing out that heat stress doesn't discriminate. It can strike anyone, no matter how fit. One fan comment summed it up best. When a player says he couldn't breathe and blacked out, it's no longer about tennis. It's about player safety. Atmane wasn't alone. Wu Yibing, China's local star and former US Open junior champion, also retired during his first-round match due to a left thigh injury. While unrelated to heat, it added to the narrative that Shanghai's opening rounds were taking a heavy toll on players. 2 retirements in one day is unusual. 2 in the same round at the same tournament? That's alarming. Meanwhile, veterans like David Goffin and Adrian Manarino advanced, but even they admitted post-match that conditions were brutal. Tennis already has extreme heat policies in place, but critics argue they aren't strict enough. At the Australian Open, organizers introduced heat stress monitoring after several players collapsed in past editions. The US Open allows a 10-minute break between sets in extreme heat. Wimbledon, being grass and in cooler London, rarely faces this, but when it does, play is often suspended. Yet in Shanghai, play continued without interruption. Should tennis follow the model of other sports, where mandatory cooling breaks and heat suspensions protect players more aggressively? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Tournaments often prioritize broadcast schedules and ticket sales over athlete well-being. And until something catastrophic happens, the rules rarely change. For Atmane, the road now shifts from progress to recovery. He announced he'll take a few weeks off to fully recover from this ordeal. That's the smart move, but it also means lost ranking points, missed opportunities, and a potential setback in his breakthrough season. Yet his transparency might leave a lasting impact. By admitting publicly that he lost consciousness, Atmane has forced the conversation onto the global stage. He could easily have downplayed it. He could have said, "I wasn't feeling well." Instead, he told the truth. And that truth could spark change. It's worth noting that moments like this don't just affect the body, they affect the mind. After an incident like this, players often develop lingering fears. Imagine stepping onto a hot court, remembering the last time you blacked out, and trying to perform at your best. That hesitation, that memory, can linger. It's the same way Naomi Osaka spoke about panic attacks, or how Monfils admitted he sometimes holds back physically after previous collapses. Atmane now faces that same challenge. Here's where the story gets even bigger than tennis. Global temperatures are rising, and outdoor sports are already grappling with the consequences. The 2020 Tokyo Olympics were notorious for heat-related retirements in tennis. Daniil Medvedev famously told the umpire, "If I die, who will take responsibility?" That chilling line echoes today with Atmane's words, "I couldn't breathe. I was shaking." Sports scientists warn that within the next decade, extreme heat events will only become more frequent. Tournaments like Shanghai may soon face an ultimatum: adapt scheduling or risk more collapses. Fans often underestimate just how physically punishing tennis is. Best of 5 sets in brutal heat. Minimal rest between points. Solo endurance. Unlike team sports where players can be substituted. Atmane's scare serves as a reminder. Behind the glamour of international tennis are athletes fighting their bodies just to survive matches. For the ATP Tour, this incident adds to growing pressure to review climate policies, scheduling, and health protocols. Terence Atmane's Shanghai nightmare wasn't just about one player. It was about what happens when the human body meets conditions too extreme for even the fittest athlete. His words, "I couldn't breathe. I was shaking," will echo long after the tournament ends. Because this wasn't just a lost match. This was a warning shot to the sport. A warning that unless tennis adapts, we may see more players pushed beyond their limits, with consequences too serious to ignore. For Atmane, the journey continues. He'll rest, recover, and hopefully return stronger. But his story has already left its mark. And that's why we'll be watching. This has been Netrush Report, your home for the drama, the rivalries, and the raw human stories that make tennis unforgettable. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and tell us in the comments. Should tennis do more to protect players from extreme heat? Until next time, stay safe, stay cool, and we'll see you on the next report.